Hey guys, my name is Dan, I'm a veterinarian, and welcome to the channel. Today, I'm talking about Zenrelia versus Apoquel. Itchy dogs are just so incredibly common, especially seasonally, spring and fall, and these two medications, which are JAK inhibitors, can help make doggies feel better and more comfortable. The Apoquel was first to market, and Apoquel is a good option. It primarily focuses on the JAK1 pathway, which is the itch pathway. If your dog is itchy, uncomfortable, it helps that. It does, I believe, have some interaction with JAK3 as well, but the major focus is the JAK1 pathway. So most people say, when my dog's on Apoquel, we feel better. Over the last year, Zenrelia has hit the market, and Zenrelia has definitely caused some waves. They have definitely showed up, and they are ready for battle. You guys ever watch Twilight? I didn't really watch it, but it's like one of those where the wolf guy and the vampire kid, like people are picking sides. This is the same thing. Are you going to be an Apoquel person or a Zenrelia person? Zenrelia is not as selective as Apoquel. Zenrelia is going to block the JAK1, the JAK2, and the other receptor called TIC, and it's going to block that pathway as well. Zenrelia is more like, I'm going to block all these different areas and we're going to get a much more comfortable doggy. There were some studies done, and you can see that when you're out about a month, Zenrelia dogs tend to have a bit more control of itchy skin-wise compared to the Apoquel dogs. As well, guys, Zenrelia may even be reducing redness and inflammation, and it's just going to modulate the immune system a bit more extensively than Apoquel does, just because it's acting on more receptors. Of course, at this point, nobody is recommending to give vaccines with Zenrelia. With the studies that were done, it's just appropriate to wait and do vaccines outside of Zenrelia dosing. In most cases, most veterinarians are saying, let's have a 30-day off, do your vaccines, and then another 30 days off before you continue. That means most people are going to stop the Zenrelia for 60 days. A lot of veterinarians are trying to do these vaccines in the wintertime, pushing vaccines off, breaking vaccines up, and just trying to figure out when they can do it that it best allows for a break. Of course, if we need a break, you can do antihistamines, you can do food trials, you can do steroids, you can do Apoquel, you can do all kinds of things to bridge the gap. But the most important thing is we don't want any medicine to cause any problems. We don't want any medicine to affect the efficacy or the ability of a vaccine to produce a immune response. So for that reason, at this point, until additional studies are done, most veterinarians should be recommending a period of pausing your Zenrelia until the vaccines are done. What I have noticed professionally, and this is just me in my small little clinic in Papillion, Nebraska, us humble people, at this point, Apoquel is still a great option, and most of the dogs that I see are still on Apoquel. Zenrelia coming to the market has really helped a number of doggies that have been unresponsive to Apoquel. Or if I have a dog that is just really, really red, really, really itchy, and next level stuff, I am picking Zenrelia before Apoquel. I tend to be picking Zenrelia for the more complicated and more challenging cases. Why? Because I said earlier, guys, it's going to block more pathways, and I feel like it's going to have a greater reach for controlling. Now, of course, it's not wrong to start Apoquel or Zenrelia on any case if there's a dog with allergies. Just because I'm picking it based on certain parameters does not mean that if a veterinarian just carries Zenrelia or just carries Apoquel, there's anything wrong with that. There's not. It's prescribed for allergies. And if you have a dog with allergies, you can pick either one. There's not a right or a wrong answer here. Prices do vary drastically here. Apoquel is very expensive, and that has been a challenge from the get-go. You can get it a little bit cheaper sometimes at at Sam's Club or Costco. Our veterinary clinic will price match up and down, try to give people the best price possible. But no matter if you go to the big box retail pharmacies or if you go to your veterinarian hospital, in most cases, you are going to be spending a lot of money. Most people spend over $100 on daily Apoquel dosing. Zenrelia is cheaper in most cases, depending on how your pills dose out. But in most cases, Zenrelia is cheaper. Zenrelia is cheaper because you're not doing twice a day ever, and it's dosed out by a 30-tablet box. I don't know why they picked that price point, but I really appreciate it. It makes Zenrelia really affordable, and there are situations where if I'm not getting the results I want, we are moving to Zenrelia just because it's priced really appropriately before going and seeing a dermatologist or something like that, because we're seeing if we can get the doggy comfortable before going to our next step. There are other JAK pathway drugs in the pipeline, and I've heard Merck has one, and that's going to be a second generation JAK1 specific, which will be interesting to see if it can hold its own with comparison to Zenrelia, which has been very good at controlling these more complicated ones. But hey guys, in the end, it's the more options we have that treat a doggy for allergies in different mechanisms. Hopefully for the dogs that are mild, we can pick a JAK1 specific. The dogs that are more severe, we can pick a more generalized approach with your JAK suppression medicines. But it's really cool. When I first started practicing forever ago, there was not a lot of options. Steroids were the option, and to be frank, they weren't great. They were not great, and it's never great to put dogs on steroids long term. So having all these other options, guys, is amazing, and it's really exciting to see what's going to happen. All right, I hope that was crazy helpful. I really appreciate all of you. As always, my name is Dan. I'm a veterinarian. You guys take care. Bye.